Wolverine.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. You're a well-loved character, Batman. Did you had any idea when they came to you initially to do the part that it was going to be this successful and live on for all these years?
I had no idea, Will, until tonight. By the way, you do great pole work.
Oh, did I come down the pole okay?
Yes.
Well, we thought we did that as a tribute to you.
That was very nice.
Now, you guys used to run through the pole, and then you'd change clothes on the way down. I couldn't do that, of course.
No, we were very quick. Very quick.
How did they do that?
Movie magic.
Movie magic.
Yeah, we stopped the camera, started another one down below, of course.
Yeah.
Some of the problems were fresh paint on the poles.
Would they do it? Would they do a lot of stuff to you to get you occasionally?
I'd say something like to Bert, to Robin, lifting the bald pate of Shakespeare and hitting the switch. To the bat poles, Robin. We'd head for the library walls as fast as we could. Nobody'd open the walls. So this is how we suffered to bring you this terribly serious high drama.
Now,
what am I doing with these gloves?
those are the official bat gloves.
Yes, they're my driving gloves.
Driving.
I will...
Now, did that bring back memories getting in their head? When was the last time you were in the car?
Absolutely. I just found a quarter on the seat. Well, may I do something?
Sure.
That I just thought of here as I took off these crime-fighting gauntlets. Nobody's ever worn these except myself and my 8-year-old son, of course. Would you like to try one of these?
Oh, you bet.
Would you like to wear the real Batman gloves?
It would be an honor. Ooh, this is an honor. This is a thrill a lot of kids don't get. I got a talk show so I could do this bat show.
You know, they're very becoming.
You punched a lot of crooks with these babies.
Absolutely. Those are the gloves. You are now wearing the gloves that have bested Penguin, Riddler, Egghead, Catwoman.
Mr. Freeze. Want me to go? You forgot Killer Villain.
I know. Wait, I hate them. I blocked them out. They're all in the slammers.
They're all. Well, you had some great actors come through that show.
Absolutely.
A lot of terrific actors. And, well, let me ask you, before Batman, you were doing a lot of film acting work. What did you think? They came to you and said, we want you to get in these tights and play this character, Batman.
Well, my first reaction was, wait a minute. Hey, I'm trying to have a serious career here. I didn't know there'd be a Batman party night here with Will in those days. But I just finished a picture in Europe. I had an offer to do several other films. And I'd come back here to see my family. And they told me that 20th Century Fox was considering doing Batman. And I groaned a little, but I decided to go out and listen. And I'm glad I did, because it was one of the funniest pilot scripts I've ever read. And I've done 12 pilots. Mm-hmm. And I just feel very privileged to have done the show.
Yeah, well, it was a great show, and it's an international success in, 108 countries? Do you travel around to some of the other countries where it's a hit?
I'll be going to London probably in a week. And over there, I will be promoting the Batman movie that we did a few years ago, which again is becoming, it's crazy. It's playing all over the world now. They have Batman nights in theaters, and everybody dresses up like Will does. About 11:30 p.m.
They don't have the gloves.
Oh, no, they don't
have the gloves.
The original gloves, and they come to watch the movie. A friend of mine, Hal Lifson, who's a manager, Julie Newmar, some other people, is promoting the picture and really getting the word out, so I've been asked to come talk about it in a few places.
Your voice, I would imagine on a phone, people just know you. When you call information or something, do they just know you?
It gets embarrassing. I can't get away with anything. I really can't. It's like...
So if you call like a phone sex number, they know you.
That's right. There's no phone sex in my life. It's terribly embarrassing. It's not only the credit card in the name. I tried to use my Batman credit card. But I may... You should see what I got. You know, your bat is bigger than mine, and I don't like this. I made an international phone call the other day, and the operator, I think she was Italian, said, "Right away, Batman." Really, I can't get away with anything.
Yeah. Well, as kids, we were fans. I mean, I was such a fan, we even made a Batman movie. It was the first one I got when my dad gave me a movie camera when we were kids, and we made a little Batman movie. So we'll show a little of that.
Good, because I understand that you, Will Schreiner, directed the first Batman movie.
Well, this is our version. Okay. Here's a little look. My brother was in this. We had all the kids and all the characters. Here we are. There, I'm the thug in that right there, taking a shot. we learned all your stunts. We used to punch each other. we went all out. We killed kids making these things. And then this was my brother Ken, who was the Joker. We had Cesar Romero on here one day, and we showed a clip from this. But this was a... And, well, Batman and Robin, of course, come back and save the day. It goes on for hours. We won't...
That is really fun stuff, Will.
I was such a fan.
Great.
Now, let me...
They looked like us when we first started. You two guys.
Now, when you had to wear those tights...
Oh, gosh. Tights, I got them on underneath in case there's a crime, and I see there might be.
But now, there must have been days, a big lunch, where you just didn't want to squeeze
the big lunch days
and you come back to work?
With all the Margaritaville stuff, but no. The costume had its restrictions. Yes, after large, sumptuous, long lunches, occasionally you would hang over your utility belt a little, and somebody would always take that picture, and it would end up in 18 magazines, of course.
Tell me about what you're doing now. You have a new film coming out?
Hopefully. No, I've done...
hopefully.
They're having a little problem, I understand, with the release date, but I have 3 pictures to be released in '88. One is from Canon. It's called Doing Time on Planet Earth, in which I play a guy who thinks he's an alien, and I have an army of ETs, and I'm just trying to get off this garbage heap called Earth! Tonight! Second picture is a romantic comedy, kind of an ordinary... straightforward, Sturgis-like romantic comedy called Mad About You. I have a third film, which I play a rotten CIA agent sniveling with his dope ring.
Wow,
in the Far East.
So you're busy all the time. You pretty much stay bat busy, as they say.
I was lying. Yes. Well, I've been very fortunate. Well, I've had an excellent 10 years.
Yeah. Well, it's a thrill to have you on the show. Can you stick around for the rest of it with all of our other bat partners?
Hey, I wouldn't miss it.
All right,
you
great.
Can't get rid of me.
All right. Adam West and I will continue our Batman show right after this. Julie Newmar, Batwoman's coming out.
Stand firm, Batman. The fur will fly with that felonious feline in the crowd.
Our salute to Batman on the show today. My next guest played her part to perfection, as they say. Please welcome the first kitty of crime, Catwoman, Julie Newmar. Julie? Ooh.
You know a lot about our history, don't you?
I know a lot. I was a big fan, and I've been reading up on everything, and I got to hug Catwoman. As a kid, that would have killed me. Anyway, now, did you know that at the time, all these kids everywhere had a crush on you? You were quite the sex... Well, you still look great, but you were quite the sex symbol back then for a kid. About 14, in his room late at night. Catwoman. I mean that in the best of ways.
Or in the Batcave, really.
In the Batcave as well.
My closet is very popular on Halloween.
Now, we're shooting you on the official villain angle. Remember, on your show, whenever you had a villain,
Yeah.
see, they always shot you at an angle.
They were twisted, people.
Yeah.
That was just so we knew who the bad guys were, too.
Yeah. Weren't those sets wonderful?
The sets were great.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look. We have a clip of the two of you in action. I think we should roll that.
Hey, hot stuff.
This is when Catwoman and Batman got a little close. Watch the videotape.
It's all over, Catwoman.
I could swim for it.
You'd never survive the fall. It's at least 100 feet down into the West River.
Anything's better than facing prison again.
I'll do everything I can to rehabilitate you.
Marry me.
Everything except that. A wife, no matter how beauteous or affectionate, would severely impair my crime fighting.
But I can help you in your work. As a former criminal, I'd be invaluable. I can reform. Honestly, I can.
What about Robin?
Robin? Oh, I've got it. We'll kill him.
A great solution.
Pragmatic, aren't you?
You picked that segment for that line.
Oh,
I
that
know,
was a
Will
great,
killing
great
him.
scene. I remember that when I saw that clip. I remember that line.
What did you think? What did you feel then? Did you think it was a good idea?
Oh, yeah, it was a great. Kill Robin, and you guys settle down in the Batcave.
No, then the show would be over.
Now, how long did you do ballet before
All my
this?
life, forever. I still do.
Yeah, you still
Yeah.
enjoy it, and you have a film coming out about dance.
Dance Academy.
Uh-huh. And what's that about?
It's like Romeo and Juliet, only it's the jazz dancers against the ballet dancers, so it's like two families fighting each other, and I'm the head of the Dance Academy, and I'm again a meanie.
You're a meanie again?
meanie,
Oh,
yes.
now tell me. I read that you invented
Really?
a special kind of pantyhose.
Yes. They called it pomacious in People magazine. You know what that word means? No. Pomme and French means apple, so it's like, well, I shouldn't demonstrate for you.
I got the picture.
It just makes you look very youthful and wonderful and well exercised. See this pantyhose now.
It's an apple. Not a pear. Not a pear. I didn't say pear.
No pears on this show. No.
Okay. Slowly.
And you've also done a lot. Now you're doing a lot with real estate these days
Yes,
too.
yes. Fortunately, when my little boy was born, I set two goals for myself. One where I would have a job where I could be at home and watch him grow, and the second one was to produce $250,000 a year for the rest of my life. And I did it.
And you did it in Southern California here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Good for you. I tell you what, we need to take what do they call it? We'll take a bat time out and meet Robin right after this. Don't go away. More with Julie and Adam. Burt Ward joins us.
Holy boy wonder. We'll get the straight scoop from that super sidekick, Robin Burt Ward.
Now, no Batman show would be complete without my next guest, who was the #1 adolescent crime stopper in TV history. He's since become a successful entrepreneur whose latest project is all about helping kids. Let's welcome the man who was Robin, Burt Ward. Burt.
Batmobile.
We got the Batmobile. We went all the way. Now, wasn't that what you always used to say? Greetings, citizens.
Yes, to the bat pole.
The Bat Pole. Now, I got to ask you, how did you get the part?
Well, I was studying acting at UCLA where I was going to college, and I was trying out for acting parts, and I sold a house to a producer who sent me to an agent, and the agent sent me out for the part, and it was the first thing I really ever tried out for. So I guess I was very lucky.
Sure. Well, did you have any idea when you started that the show would live on and be so?
No,
so
I don't
successful?
think, at least I didn't think that it would necessarily be a big success. We were a mid-season replacement, and as such, we were different. We didn't know what would happen, and of course, after the first night's ratings and a ridiculously high share, then we realized that
50%, yeah.
we had a super hit on our hands.
But there's no place to go but down, right, Burt?
But you became a teen heartthrob. Girls had to have you. They wanted Robin in a big way.
Well,
Was
I
that-
don't know. I was pretty sequestered in the Batcave, you know. I mean, they had us ridiculous hours there. We would work, 7:30 in the morning till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and on weekends, we'd go out and do appearances. But at that time, you had so many people crowding around and so many people trying to protect you that I never really had a chance to grow up. I mean, I felt like I kind of spent my young years in the cave.
Now, tell me about the shooting of the show. I understand you got hurt a few times. It was dangerous on the set.
Well, the first show, I was hurt 5 times. And in fact, the first day I was almost killed. And I think I said to Adam that if it keeps up like this, I may not make it to the second show.
Yeah.
They had all kinds of explosions. I remember Adam was breaking through the wall of a subway station to get to me, and I was tied up on the Riddler's thing, and the guys were supposed to build a breakaway set, and of course, in their infinite wisdom, they didn't. So what they did is they took the easy way. Instead of using a fake type of magnesium explosion, they used real dynamite and nearly blew down the soundstage. And of course, the timbers were falling. I mean, I had my hands like this. And then the day or two before, we'd been in a burning car, and we were supposed to get out of the car and jump out. And Adam, of course, was first being Batman, while I was down in the bottom with the fire. And so he came out and, of course, showed his cape for another couple minutes while I'm down there suffocating. And then he jumped out, and as I started to get out, the whole thing blew up, you know? I mean, it's just a dangerous show.
So you're saying Batman let his little buddy get into trouble sometime, huh?
Hey, the kid had to learn. You know, you haven't changed. You haven't changed, Bert.
Now, we have a clip of you where you become a bad guy.
Yes, and in that one sequence, I'm sure that's the one in the candy store where I go Dick Grayson undercover.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Here he is, Burt Ward as Robin, a bad guy, just first.
Oh, come on, baby. Did you miss me?
Well,
Are you still madly in love with me, huh?
well,
How about a little smooch? You're my kind of dame.
I hardly even know you, Robin.
Kissing is a great way to get acquainted, sweetheart.
But, Robin, I really want you to get the wrong impression of me. I'm not the type of girl to kiss a boy on the first crime.
Close your eyes and pucker, and don't worry about your reputation.
You know, Will, what's funny about that, a dear friend of mine, Stanley Ralph Ross, who I understand is coming on, wrote that particular show, and he had written the introduction where Pussycat says to me, you know, Robin, I'm Catwoman's assistant, Pussycat, but you can call me Cat.
The scripts were always very, very campy. Did you guys find yourself sometimes laughing at things
Oh, yes,
you had to say?
in one sequence, I think Adam and I, with one director, laughed through 17 takes, and the director, he came up in all seriousness, he said, you know, you two guys are going to laugh me out of the business. But most of the time, we did our laughing before we did our takes so we could get it done.
Mm-hmm. And you worked with some tigers in one scene?
Yeah, 3 Bengal tigers, and it was really interesting because the director, Jim Butler, James Butler, was directing this, and he was in a steel cage about 10 feet above me, and I was about 10 feet over the tigers, and of course they could have actually jumped over my head if they wanted to. And the director says, well, come on, let's get some action going. So they hung meat over my head. And when the cats jumped up, I was going like this, and they said, Bert, that's so realistic. Gee.
You know, I'm getting that they didn't have a lot of respect for Robin's life on this show.
Well, I think when they found out I was riding a motorcycle to work in the rain, they took this giant insurance policy out of me, and they kept trying to collect to get their money back, I think.
So you were a thrill seeker. Somebody told me also you used to lose your keys a lot at your condo, so you'd have to climb the walls to get into your condominium.
Well, I'm still climbing the walls, Will, but for different reasons. Yeah, that happened. I mean, I think anything that could go wrong, I mean, you know, of course, you know Murphy's Law. Well, I believe in Sullivan's Law, and that's Murphy was an optimist, so it always happens to me.
Now, tell me about what you're doing these days. You have a project you're doing with kids?
Yes, I love kids, and I know you have one.
I have a little 21-month.
Right, Nicholas?
Nicholas, right.
And I have a program called Early Bird Theater to teach kids social values, things like honesty is the best policy. And we're going into 300,000 to 500,000 daycare centers and preschools across the country. That's our marketplace, to teach kids these wonderful values such as honesty, in hopes that when they grow up, we're going to have a better America with less crime and a better place for all of us.
Good for you. That's good. That's terrific.
And Stanley Ralph Ross, Stanley was nice enough to direct our first series of shows, and we operate by franchise offices across the country. But the main thing is that we try to help kids, and every child, because kids love to belong to things, every child gets a membership in our Early Bird Theater Club. And I brought a honorary membership for little Nicholas.
Oh, great.
A little Early Bird Theater sweatshirt.
Wow. That's what we have, a little We have a little piece. We have a little film clip. We have a little clip
great.
of Early Bird. What are we going to see with Early Bird?
Well, what we're going to be seeing with Early Bird is just a show opening, but we have teaching supplements that teach social values, and we have product from all the major motion picture studios that are furnished to teach these kids these wonderful things. So it's teaching through entertainment.
Oh, great. All right, let's take a look at Early Bird, Burt Ward's newest project. That's great. Well, thank you for my, I'll give it to Nicholas.
Yes.
We're going to bring out, we're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll bring Stanley out, who wrote all the crazy stuff you guys did. Can you stick around
I think
for that?
he's crazier than Adam and I put together.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break and be back with Stanley Ralph Ross, who wrote all the crazy stuff you saw in Batman. After this, don't go away. Let's back to it.
Coming up, we'll press one of the program's primary pundits, writer Stanley Ralph Ross. Stay tuned.
Hi there. I'm sitting here with Robin, Catwoman, and Batman. Now, you ever wonder who sent the dynamic duel after all those costume crooks? No, it wasn't Commissioner Gordon or Chief O'Hara. It was our next guest who wrote 36 episodes of Batman. Say hello to writer Stanley Ralph Ross. Stanley? Right by the two of them to kiss Catwoman.
Of course. Are you kidding? That was my creation. I mean, I remember the first time I sat down to write a Catwoman thing, and I said, seeing as how I'm so twisted and so sensuous, I thought right away I'm going to write a love relationship between her and Batman just to delight the adults. You know, the kids were watching Bam and Thwack and... Wait. No, I don't remember that one.
Well, the audience ranged from what age to what age? And there was
I guess they ranged from about 4 to 90. You know, I mean, we got reviews from the New Yorker, which said wonderful show. So I think the audience was anybody who liked good entertainment.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of fun. I know I didn't miss an episode. And you had those great cliffhangers. There was that.
That was the hardest part about it. That really was. I remember one time I wrote one show where you guys were lying out in the middle of the street, and there were like 1,000 head of cattle coming after you. It was shame, right? It was shame. And I wrote the thing, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I mean, I wrote up to the cliffhanger, and then I got stuck. And my son Andy was about 8 at the time, and I asked him what would he do, and he came up with the answer.
Matador.
That's right.
Yeah.
The answer was that that Batman was able to free his hands, and he took off his cape, and 1,000 head of cattle went by, and he went, ole!
What were some of your favorite plot lines that you came up with for this
Well, I
show?
liked the one I wrote where I had Batman marry Catwoman, and that was the one that Eartha Kitt replaced you, because you were doing McKenna's Gold, I think. And I'd written a love scene between, and they were going to get married. She was forcing him to marry her. They were going to be married by the captain of the Staten Island ferry. And everybody was complaining because Eartha's black, and they said miscegenation. I said, come on, this is a fantasy. This is Batman. And they said, oh, okay, like that. And did a couple of shows where we had some intriguing plots. We had a naked, what was the one where you stole the voices of Chad and Jeremy?
Yeah, put it in the box.
Yeah, put the voices of Chad and Jeremy in a box. And she was holding up the entire country of England for $10 million for their voices.
So basically anything went. When you guys were sitting around in a room, you'd think of things.
No, we didn't sit around in a room. We didn't. There was no such thing as sitting around in a room. Anything went. I would just take my wildest dreams and write them, and they paid me for them.
Well, what happened is they let him out to write the shows, and they put him back afterwards.
They had him back in... Did the censors ever give you a hard time?
Yes. I used to write obscure, dirty words in foreign languages as the names of characters. But they were in like archaic French or archaic Swedish, and we started getting some letters in from people who were linguists. And they said, oh, very funny, that word you used. So they came after me and they said, you can't do that anymore, Stanley. So I'd written one show where we had an Arab, and I called him the Miff and Tiff of Furderber. And they said, that sounds dirty. I said, it's not. They said, sounds dirty, change it. So I changed it to Sheikh Ibn Kirab, which in Arabic means S.O.B. We just got a couple of letters from the Arab League, but that was about it.
You had another villain or a prop. What was it, Ronnie?
Yeah. This is the only time they really censored me. I'd written a weapon where the characters zapped Batman and Robin and took the third dimension out of them and made them into cardboard cutouts, and they were slipped under the door of the commissioner. And then I think Chief O'Hara put his hand on Robin and said, my goodness, there's a pulse. So I wanted to name the weapon something interesting, so I called it the Ronald Ray gun.
And they said no?
Yeah, they said no. They said, he's our governor. At the time, he was our governor. So I changed it to the Alvino Ray gun. Now, you got to know, Alvino Ray was an old-time band leader from the 40s. And, 4 people who played with Tommy Dorsey laughed, but I laughed.
Now, were the actors occasionally coming to you as the writer saying, hey, you got to pan our part, you got to do...
This one here.
This one
Bert? Oh, you talking about Adam?
No, you. One time he said to me, he said, Stanley, you're really not writing me enough. So the next show, I wrote an enormous part from... I had him doing everything, and he was very tired at the end of the show, and he came to me, Stanley, you're writing me too much. So I got even with him. In the next show, I had him kidnapped on page 6. And not found till page 51. And all they did was talk about him in the show, but he was sitting off to the side. He came up to me after, he said, that's it, Stanley, I'll leave you alone. And we became very good friends. We still are good friends. As a matter of fact, I am Burt Ward's minister. I married Burt to his lovely wife, Mariana, on August the 10th, 3 years ago.
Now, I've asked everybody what they're up to these days. What are you working on nowadays?
Well, I in the last 3 years, I co-wrote with J. Robert Nash the encyclopedia of every movie ever made. It's called the Motion Picture Guide. It's this big. It weighs 90 pounds. It's every movie. It's a synopsis. It's all the credits. Every movie ever made. And the worst part about having written it is trying to lift it. Whenever I go on radio tours or television tours, they ask me for the books, and I got to schlep these books in. And you can really get a hernia from carrying these books. But it's the Motion Picture Guide. We publish at Cinebooks in Evanston, Illinois.
Well, Stanley, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for sharing with us all of the adventures you had on the show. Stanley Ralph Ross, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break and meet Batgirl right after this. Don't go away. Thanks, Stanley.
Don't go away. We'll be back with the battling beauties that drives all the boys batty. Batgirl, Yvonne Craig, next.
Welcome back. we got a lot of Bat fans in the audience today. And all my Bat fans that are here today know my next guest is Coy Commissioner Gordon's daughter, a likable librarian with a secret. Take a look first. Here she is in action.
What in the world is this? Revolving wall, hidden room, disguises. What is Barbara Gordon's secret?
Yvonne Craig, Batgirl. Now, I remember many days watching you on the old Bat Cycle there.
Ah, yes. Well, I hate for this to sound like a suicide series, but... but I was supposed to go out of that spinning room and ride my Bat Cycle out the wall, and it was supposed to look like a brick wall. In point of fact, it was another piece of wonderful plywood. And the special effects man said to me, okay, you see this mark? If you'll just give it all the gas you can give it, it'll look like you're riding the wall down. And I said, dynamite, I'll do that. And a little voice in the back of my head said, and keep your hands on the brakes just in case. So sure enough, I hit the mark, and I gave it all the gas I could, And I saw this wall coming up, and it didn't move. And I figured, I can't, so I put the brakes on and skidded within about an inch of the wall. And the male chauvinist pig stunt coordinator said, "She's chicken!" I figured, I don't want to go through a wall. I mean, I don't think you prove you're not chicken by going through a wall.
So now you did all your own stunts?
Yeah.
Now, why was that?
Well, I tell you, it's different for women to do their own stunts, particularly in this show. They were supposed to be coming at me to grab me, to do whatever, but nobody ever punched me. And so you guys have to agree that the way men get hurt in stunts is that somebody pulls a punch or they move into it and then they find their nose on their ear. And so it's dangerous. But for me, it wasn't dangerous at all because all they were doing was this and I could go under their arms or whatever. It was somewhat dangerous for them because what they didn't know was that I'm very, very nearsighted. And I have no depth perception in this eye. But we never told them that. But I was kicking at a lot of stuntmen's heads, and they never knew that.
Now, when did you join the show? In the third season, right?
The third season, yes. The demographics, and I was just talking to somebody about it, and they said, did they have that word then? I said, I don't know, but they knew what they were wanting. They were looking for a prepubescent female audience and an over 40 male audience. Now, I know what they had in mind for the over 40 male audience, but I always thought prepubescent girls would be in love with Bert. And if not, then with Adam, and then they would hate me. But who knows? I guess they got them. I met a little girl years later, and she said, "Oh, Miss Craig, I was so excited to see you. I'm really a fan." And I said, "Thank you." And she said, "Every time I see someone kicked in the head, I think of you." So...
Now, is that right, Stanley? You were there, so what was the
It was
thinking?
really tough to write the show in the third season because we were cut to a half hour. And there were so many characters in the show. Because not only did we have to write for Batman and Robin, we had to write for Bruce and Dick, Batgirl and Barbara Gordon. Then you had the villains and 3 villainous assistants, and some very good actors played villainous assistants. And so before you knew it, you had like 14 parts before you could really get to a story. So it was tough in the third season. But she really tickled my prepubescence, and I thought you were great.
I read somewhere that your nickname on the set was Bat Broad. No, is that right?
Well, yeah, that's sort of right. Now it can be told. I have very big front teeth. And so if you see me looking like this, I look like Bucky Beaver. And so, true. And so the publicist saw a picture of me and said, "Oh, wonderful, Bucky Beaver." And so he used to say, "Hi there, BB." And so somebody came who shouldn't have heard one day, and they said, "What does that mean, BB?" And he said, "It means Bat Broad," which sounded a lot better than, you know, this lady has that I'm trying to publicize has big teeth.
And you did a lot of acting prior to Batgirl. You were in a wonderful movie, The Gene Krupa Story, with Sal Mineo.
Yes, the wonderful parts got cut out because those were the days when you weren't allowed to say almost anything. Anyway, he was supposed to be truly studying to be a priest and met this nymphomaniac girl. I always play sluts or goody two-shoes, but there's never any in between. I mean... Anyway, he was supposed to, there was a raid, and we were in the liquor locker, and he starts to pick me up and put me, and I slide down his body. And then later on in the show, I'm supposed to take his key from him and stick it down the front and say, "If you want it, come and get it." Well, poor Sal had lost so much weight on this picture, what with drumming and doing, and we were shooting days and nights, and when it came time for him to pick me up and shake me, I outweighed him by 20 pounds. So, fortunately, I'd been a ballet dancer, and I said to him, "I'll flip myself, and you just grab and shake, and we'll work it out." So we did.
So, yeah, you took care of yourself.
Yes.
Well, being in good shape, I guess, came in handy for this show, because you did a lot of great stuff. We have another piece of tape. Let's roll that, and we'll take a look at Yvonne and another scene from Batman.
Batgirl, I'll untie you.
Thank you, Batman. They almost turned me into a human hors d'oeuvre. What a chilling way to die.
Holy coal creeps. Leave it to crooks like them to think of a trick like this.
Yes, that's to be expected, Robin. The concept of decency is alien to the criminal mind.
Murphy, 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 hey, hey, Murphy.
And thanks to me, they've escaped.
Perhaps crime fighting is better left to the men, Batgirl. Perhaps not. But this isn't exactly women's work.
But I'm no ordinary woman, Batman.
Agreed.
At least we recovered the dehydrated royal caviar.
There they are, the three of them in action. Batgirl, Robin, and Batman. We'll take a commercial break and be back with more of our show. Don't go away.
The Will Shriner Show is brought to you in part by Clairol, the makers of loving care. Anything you ever wanted to know about anything, tomorrow on Will.
That of course was our audience doing the Bat-Tootsie. Now that became quite the rage, actually. The Bat-Tootsie. That just
Yes,
Hey, Adam,
it was a
how
national.
you really created it.
It was a national dance craze, of course.
how did you really create
Well, there was
that?
a dance at the time that was popular called the Watusi, and I came in one morning, they handed me this thing and said, "You're going to have to do a dance in a disco," and I said, "What?" I mean, I was very upset, but I said, "It'll be the Batusi," and you've seen what happened there.
Well,
this fool, this hunk, this fool.
Now the show was so great. What was the eventual demise of the show? Why did it go off?
What does demise mean?
Demise means end.
It's like prepubescence, yes.
Holy dictionary, Batman.
I have one in my utility box. All right, you said that so well. Be careful, Bert.
We used to wonder if Robin married and his wife didn't want to fool around one night, what would she say? Holy headache, Robin.
I'd say holy Alka-Seltzer.
Holy knuckle sandwich. I'm the macho pig. You were anyway, what happened was we started out with extremely good fortune. We had very high ratings, so there was nowhere to go but down. Also, the show was beautifully produced by Bill Dozier and all of the rest of the people. Charlie Fitzsimons, and I could go on naming them. And it was expensive. So there were cost overruns, is what I heard. And the studio certainly wasn't making any money, as often happens with very expensive shows. So they said, well, you guys just get in gear and get enough product to go into reruns, and then it'll be clear sailing, and they'll make bottom line stuff. So that's what happened.
I want to thank all of you for making our Bat Show a special. Adam West, thanks so much for being here. Of course. Yvonne Craig, thank you. Burt Ward, thanks a lot. Julie Newmar, thank you for being here. Stanley, thanks so much. Stanley Ralph Ross. This was a great show. I hope you enjoyed it at home, Bat fans. Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. Adam, it's the Bat phone. What? You better handle it.
Yes, Commish. It's the commissioner.
It's the commissioner.
And it's for you, Will.
It's for me?
Yes.
Well,
hold on, Commissioner.
Let me get it on the Will phone.
Yeah, the Will phone. It's marvelous. He has a Will phone.
Yes, Commissioner.
It works.
There's a problem? I think I can handle it. I'll have to talk to Adam. Adam, can I borrow the keys to the Batmobile?
The keys to the Batmobile?
The keys to the Batmobile. There's a problem in Gotham City.
Let's see if I have them here.
I'm going to handle it.
Oh.
Commissioner, I'm on it.
Could I see your license, please? Could I see your green card? Here they are.
The keys to the Batmobile.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the Bat Show, but there's trouble in Gotham City, and I've got to go rescue the day. I'll be right back.
Will Shriner's wardrobe, furnished by Rick Palak.